So, dear students, myself Hanif sir, lecturer in chemistry. So, today we will be dealing with the physical chemistry part that consists of almost 5 topics, out of which today I am going to take up the class on the very first topic of our second PUC chemistry, that is solid state. So, in first PUC we have a lesson states of matter, where we have already know about the different physical states of the matter. There are mainly 3 types of states of matter. So, first one is solid state, second one is liquid state, and the third one is gaseous state, gases. So, these states of matter are classified on the basis of arrangement of constituent particles in them. I mean to say, in case of solids, constituent particles, we say they are closely packed. Constituent particles are closely packed. It looks like this. When we go for liquid state, the constituent particles are loosely packed. Constituent particles are loosely packed. They can be like this. So that's why these liquids are having the ability to flow from one side to another side. When we come to gases, so once again in gases also constituent particles are very free to move. They are very free to move. Hence gases can move from one place to another place. Okay. So in case of solid, the constituent particles are closely packed. Whereas in case of liquids and gases, constituent particles are loosely packed in case of liquids and they are very free in case of gases. So because of this one, they are having a property to flow. So that's why they are also known as fluids. They may also called as fluids. So liquids and gases, they are also known as fluids. So fluids, in the sense they are having ability to flow, it is because of their arrangement of constituent particles. So today we shall discuss on how the arrangements of constituent particles are present in case of solids, what are their general characteristics, what are the different types of solids we are going to discuss today. So now these states of matter is associated with mainly 2 properties. One is thermal energy and another one is intermolecular forces. Thermal energy and intermolecular forces. In case of solids, so let me tell you what is this thermal energy and intermolecular forces. We already know that there are particles, how they are arranged in case of solids, liquids and gases. So this thermal energy is the energy which keeps these constituent particles as far apart from one another. This is the energy which keeps the particles or constituent particles away from each other, whereas intermolecular forces are those forces which keep the constituent particles as close as possible. तो इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस क्या करते हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स को एक दूसरे के करीब में लाने की कोशिश करते हैं। जब हमें थर्मल एनर्जी की बात कर रहे हैं So in this thermal energy, it is the energy which keeps constituent particles far away from each other. मतलब ये जो एनर्जी है ये पार्टिकल्स को एक दूसरे से दूरी पर रखने की कोशिश करती। तो इस तरह से नाउ इट इज़ वेरी क्लियर दैट इन केस ऑफ आवर सॉलिड इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस आर मोर, क्योंकि पार्टिकल्स जो है एक दूसरे के बिल्कुल करीब में हैं, एक दूसरे से बिल्कुल जो है टच में हैं, क्लोजली पैक हैं। इसका मतलब है इसमें ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या है, इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस हैं। When we talk of thermal energy, so in case of solids, this thermal energy is least we can say because particles are closer. ठीक है? So in case of liquid, what happens? See, the intermolecular forces are less, thermal energy is more. When we talk of gases, where intermolecular forces are least and maximum thermal energy will be there. तो गैसेस में जो है थर्मल एनर्जी मैक्सिमम है, हमारे सॉलिड्स में क्या है, थर्मल एनर्जी लीस्ट है। जबकि इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग इन केस ऑफ सॉलिड्स, जबकि इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस आर लीस्ट बिकॉज particles are away from each other. So that's why, so we are not going to deal with these two topics that we have already learnt in our first PUC classes. So today we will be focusing on solids. So now in case of solids, intermolecular forces are strong and thermal energy is least. At sufficient low temperature, so this thermal energy is going to be minimum and these intermolecular forces are going to be strong in case of solids. So now let us see what are the characteristics of solids. What are the characteristics of solids? So it is important for 2 marks in the exam. Okay. So general characteristics of solids we already know. See, in case of solids, we already know that constituent particles are closely packed. Particles are closely packed मतलब constituent particle जो है एक दूसरे के बिल्कुल करीब में है, जिससे साफ पता चलता कि इसमें intermolecular forces जो है strong हैं। इसके अलावा as the particles are very close to one another, as the particles are very close, the distance between them, the intermolecular distances are very short. So how can we define the solid means? We have already defined the solid state in first PUC. So solids are the substances which have definite mass and definite volume, we can say. So that is only the first property of our solid or characteristics of our solid. The very first one is, so solids have definite mass, shape and volume. Solids have definite mass, shape and volume. Solids have definite mass, shape and volume. The second one is, I am coming to intermolecular forces. So how about intermolecular forces? As the particles, constituent particles are closely packed, intermolecular forces are strong. Intermolecular forces are strong. Intermolecular forces are strong. As the intermolecular forces are strong, particles are close to one another. मतलब particles के बीच में जो है बिल्कुल distance नहीं रहता, इसलिए third one is intermolecular distances. Intermolecular distances are short. Now, in case of solids, these constituent particles have fixed positions. Constituent particles have fixed positions. Fourth one, constituent particles have fixed positions. Means constituent particles are having fixed positions in case of solids. That's why they are having a definite shape and definite volume, even definite mass also. So because of their fixed positions, solids are incompressible and rigid. Okay, so next one, they are incompressible. These solids are incompressible and rigid. Incompressible and rigid. So these are some characteristics of our solids. Okay, so very simple. So they are having definite mass, shape and volume. This is all things. Why solids are incompressible and rigid? One more question may be asked. So then you are going to answer. In case of solids, constituent particles have fixed positions. As they are having fixed positions, hence the solids are incompressible and rigid. Next, coming to types of solids. Types of solids. Types of solids. So, based on arrangement of constituent particles. See, we are always focusing on constituent particles, means the particles which are present in our solids. These constituent particles may be atoms or molecules, they may be ions also. Okay, so in different types of solids, different types of constituent particles are also present. So depending upon arrangement of constituent particles, solids are classified into two types. So based on the basis of order of arrangement of particles, on the basis of arrangement of constituent particles, so solids are classified into two types mainly. They are crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Okay, so on the basis of arrangement of constituent particles, on the basis of arrangement of constituent particles, solids are classified into two types. First one is crystalline solids. So let us see what are the crystalline solids with some examples. So crystalline solids are those solids in which constituent particles have a regular definite pattern. Means these are the solids which are having definite geometrical shape. इनका definite geometrical shape होता है, यानी तो इनके constituent particles जो हैं वो एक definite regular pattern में होते हैं. Okay, so these are the crystalline solids are those solids in which constituent particles have a arrangement of constituent particle is in the regular pattern. In other words, they are having definite geometrical shape. They are having definite geometrical shape. Like our ionic salts, NaCl, KCl, MgO, ZnS, metals like iron, copper, okay, they all come under these crystalline solids. Okay, so these are the solids in which solids whose constituent particles have arranged in definite regular pattern. So these are the solids whose constituent particles have arranged in a definite regular pattern. So this is also known as constituent particles have arranged लॉन्ग रेंज आर्डर विसे. जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स एक डेफिनेट रेगुलर पैटर्न में अरेंज होती तो इसे हमें क्या बोलती, लॉन्ग रेंज आर्डर ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स भी बोलती. सो दीज आर द सॉलिड्स इन विच कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स हैव लॉन्ग रेंज आर्डर भी हमें इसे बोल सकते. ओके, सो कमिंग टू सम एग्जाम्पल्स. सो एग्जाम्पल्स, salts like NaCl, KCl, MgO, okay, ZnS, metals like iron, copper, silver, etc. So coming to another type, the second one is amorphous solids. After knowing crystalline solids, you will be able to answer what are amorphous solids. See, these are the solids where arrangement of constituent particle is regular pattern. Means the particles are arranged in a definite way. So it may like this. There is a definite arrangement, that is only called regular pattern. So like this, if there is no such regular pattern of arrangement of constituent particles, then it is known as amorphous solids. So now I can answer like this: solids whose constituent particles have not arranged in a definite regular pattern. Where there is a irregular pattern of arrangement of constituent particle is present, it means to say that these are the solids which are not having a definite geometrical shape also. Okay, so now solids whose constituent particles are not arranged in definite regular pattern, means they are not having a definite geometrical shape. In other words, we can also say constituent particles are present in short order. So short order in the sense that regular pattern of arrangement, it will break somewhere, means the particles are going to arrange randomly. Okay, if there is a definite regular pattern, they are crystalline solids. If constituent particles have no such regular arrangement, means that arrangement is broken everywhere, so that the particles are not arranged in the definite pattern or regular pattern. In other words, it is also known as short order arrangement. Constituent particles have arranged in the short range order. Example: plastic, rubber, wood. So here we can add one more example: quartz, SiO2. SiO2 is a crystalline solid. So here plastic, rubber, wood, glass. See here, interesting example. Glass is a amorphous solid. I will tell you later why it is amorphous solid. Even quartz glass is also amorphous solids. So now in examination you may ask the difference between crystalline and amorphous solids. So next topic is, let us classify our crystalline and amorphous solids. Okay, so next, distinguish between differences between crystalline and amorphous solids. Differences between crystalline and amorphous solids. So let us make two columns and distinguish these. Crystalline solids, amorphous solids. So first of all, we will talk of the arrangement of constituent particles. We have already said that crystalline solids have constituent particles which are arranged in a definite regular pattern, and there is no such regularity in case of amorphous solids. That term itself, in another way it is defined as, here constituent particles have long range order, we can say. So the first difference is, constituent particles have long range order. Constituent particles have long range order. In case of amorphous solids, constituent particles have short range order. Okay, so coming to the next difference, second one. So when we talk of their shape, how about the shape? I have already told you they are having definite geometrical shape, they are not having definite geometrical shape. Okay, so now they have definite shape. In simple way, crystalline solids have definite shape, they do not have definite shape. So coming to next difference, coming to melting point. How about the melting point? So crystalline solids have sharp melting point, whereas amorphous solids do not have sharp melting point. What do you mean by that sharp melting point? In the sense, they are going to melt at a particular temperature. समझो कि अगर NaCl का melting point 758 केल्विन है तो एग्जैक्टली एट 758 केल्विन पे क्या करते, मेल्ट होते. व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ अमॉर्फस सॉलिड्स, ये ऐसे सॉलिड्स हैं जिनका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट जो है फिक्स नहीं रहता, बिकॉज दे आर गोइंग टू मेल्ट ओवर ए रेंज ऑफ टेम्परेचर. सो ये जो मेल्ट होती हैं एक पर्टिकुलर टेम्परेचर पे मेल्ट नहीं होते, इसलिए हमें क्या बोलते हैं, सो दे आर नॉट हैविंग शार्प मेल्टिंग पॉइंट. सो they have sharp melting point. They have sharp melting point. What about this? They do not have sharp melting point. They do not have sharp melting point. They do not have sharp melting point. So next we are having one more property called heat of fusion. Heat of fusion. Even fusion means melting. Heat of fusion हमें कब डिस्क्राइब करती हैं बोले तो, जब हमें 1 ग्राम ऑफ पर्टिकुलर सॉलिड लेके उसे मेल्ट करती, मेल्ट करने के लिए जो हीट एनर्जी लगती उसे हमें हीट ऑफ फ्यूजन बोलते हैं. सो जैसे इसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट जो है वो डेफिनेट है, शार्प मेल्टिंग पॉइंट है, इसीलिए इसका हीट ऑफ फ्यूजन भी जो है वो डेफिनेट रहता. हीट ऑफ फ्यूजन इज आल्सो डेफिनेट फॉर क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड एंड इट इज़ नॉट डेफिनेट, मीन्स दे आर नॉट हैविंग डेफिनेट heat of fusion in case of amorphous solids. Okay, so the next point is they have definite heat of fusion, definite heat of fusion. They do not have definite heat of fusion. So they do not have definite heat of fusion. So next very important point, these are crystalline solids are true solids. See, in the first characteristic itself we have defined. कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स में हमें क्या बोले, कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट पार्टिकल्स को जो है फिक्स्ड पोजीशंस रहती, दे आर क्लोजली पैक्ड. इन अदर वर्ड्स जो है इसमें स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटरमॉलिक्यूलर फोर्सेस रहती. ये ऑलमोस्ट पूरे प्रॉपर्टी जो हमें पहले डिस्कस करें वो जो है हमारे क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड्स में रहती, इसलिए जो है दीज आर ट्रू सॉलिड्स. whereas in case of amorphous solids we can say, see, the constituent particles are not present in a definite pattern, they are not present in the regular pattern, that's why they are pseudo solids. pseudo बोले तो false, ठीक है. so pseudo solids they are also known as super cooled liquids भी बोलते हैं इसे हमें, they are also called as super cooled liquids. next, coming to the next difference, so these are true solids, these are true solids. Crystalline solids are true solids, whereas amorphous solids are, so these are pseudo solids. Pseudo solids are super cooled liquids. Super cooled liquids. These are pseudo solids or super cooled liquids. I will tell you why they are called pseudo solids or super cooled liquids later. So let me complete one more difference. So coming to isotropic nature of crystalline and amorphous solids. So next difference, Next difference. Next we are going to define the property isotropic nature in both the solids. So crystalline solids are anisotropic in nature. Later I will tell you what is isotropy and anisotropy. So these are anisotropic in nature. Anisotropic in nature, whereas amorphous solids are, next difference, these are isotropic in nature. Isotropic in nature. Next, crystalline solids, they can be cleaved along a definite plane. जब हमें crystalline solids को कट करते हैं तो इसमें जो है definite planes बनती हैं, whereas when you cut that amorphous solids you won't get a definite plane. Okay, so one more difference. So they can be cleaved along definite planes. Crystalline solids can be cleaved along definite planes. They can be cleaved along definite planes. They cannot be cleaved along definite plane. Next one, they cannot be cleaved along definite plane. See, these differences are important for examination. The question will be, they are not just going to ask write any two differences between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Instead of that, they will ask like this: differentiate crystalline solids and amorphous solids with respect to their shape and melting point. With respect to their melting point and heat of fusion. If the question comes like this, अगर क्वेश्चन ऐसा आ रहा बोले तो only those points related with melting point and heat of fusion is तुम्हें आंसर करना, otherwise you won't get marks. There are some 7 differences are there, but they may ask for 2 marks in the examination. So hence differences are examples. So now I am going to explain what is this anisotropy and what is that isotropic nature. Okay, so next one is isotropy. So what is this isotropy means? See, when we measure certain physical properties, थोड़े physical properties जैसे refractive index, electrical resistance, solids का जब हमें measure करती along the different directions. Different direction in the sense these solids are 3-dimensional. We are going to measure along the x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. जब हमें refractive index या तो electrical resistance को along the different directions जब हमें measure करती या उसे नापती, उसके values जब same आती तो उसे हमें isotropy बुलाती. I am repeating. So certain physical properties like refractive index or electrical conductivity or electrical resistance when measured along different direction will have same value. मतलब ये प्रॉपर्टी की जो वैल्यू है वो कौन से डायरेक्शन में हमें मेजर करे तो भी क्या रहती, सेम रहती. इसे हमें आइसोट्रोपी बोलती. आइसो मीन्स सेम. अब रहा दूसरा केस अनिसोट्रोपी. व्हाट माइट बी द डेफिनेशन? व्हेन फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज लाइक refractive index or electrical resistance when measured along different directions they will have different values. थोड़े सॉलिड्स में जब हमें ये फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज़ को मेजर करती तो डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में उसकी वैल्यू जो है डिफरेंट आती. वो क्यों आती और कौन से सॉलिड्स में आती हम लोग देखेंगे. ओके, सो आइसोट्रोपी इन द सेंस फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज लाइक refractive index and electrical resistance when measured along different direction they have same values. They have same values along the different directions. When we measure refractive index or electrical resistance of certain solids, electrical resistance, okay, so when we measure refractive index and electrical resistance, when measured along the different directions they will have same value. That property is called isotropy. You have already seen in differences I have written in case of amorphous solids I have written isotropy. Amorphous solids में there is no regular pattern of arrangement. In other words, particles are arranged randomly. जब तुम्हें different directions में इसके प्रॉपर्टीज मेजर करते हैं यू आर गोइंग टू गेट दी सेम वैल्यूज जो है सेम आती. सो दिस इज द केस ऑफ अमॉर्फस सॉलिड्स. ऐसा किस में होता? अमॉर्फस सॉलिड्स में होता. नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू अनिसोट्रोपी. So certain physical properties like once again refractive index and they are going to measure electrical resistance. When you measure will get different values along the different directions. We are going to get different values along the different directions. Okay, इसमें क्या हो रहा, डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में मेजर करने के बावजूद भी वैल्यूज क्या आ रही, सेम आ रही. बट इन केस ऑफ आइसोट्रोपी जब तुम्हें डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस में ये प्रॉपर्टीज़ के वैल्यूज़ मेजर करती, सो यू आर गोइंग टू गेट डिफरेंट वैल्यूज़. दैट्स व्हाट वी कॉल्ड अनिसोट्रोपी. ओके, सो दिस प्रॉपर्टी इट एग्जिस्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ, I mean this property is present in crystalline solids. This property is present in crystalline solids. Okay, same sentence we can write, but it is going to change here. So physical properties like refractive index and electrical resistance have different values. These properties have different values when measured along different directions, when measured along different directions. So see here, we are getting different values along the different directions. That is in case of, it will come only when there is a definite pattern. It comes only when the particles have arranged in the definite pattern. यहाँ पे अरेंजमेंट रैंडम है, इसलिए वैल्यूज़ क्या आ रही, सेम आ रही. यहाँ पे जो है डेफिनेट अरेंजमेंट है, मीन्स पार्टिकल्स में बी लेस अलॉन्ग ए पर्टिकुलर एक्सिस. एक्स एक्सिस में पार्टिकल्स ज़्यादा हो सकती, वही एक्सिस का जो अरेंजमेंट है उसमें पार्टिकल्स थोड़े कम हो सकती. जेड एक्सिस में पार्टिकल्स का अरेंजमेंट और भी ज़्यादा हो सकता, क्योंकि इसमें जो है डेफिनेट पैटर्न होता है. इसलिए जो है ये प्रॉपर्टी मतलब अनिसोट्रॉपी जो है, इट इज़ ए प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ आवर क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड्स. 1 मार्क के लिए पूछता है, विच टाइप ऑफ सॉलिड्स आर अनिसोट्रोपिक इन नेचर. विच टाइप्स ऑफ सॉलिड्स आर अनिसोट्रोपिक इन नेचर बोल के 1 मार्क के लिए पूछ सकते हैं. सो आंसर इज क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड्स. क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड्स. क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड shows anisotropic in nature. So why it is so means, in crystalline solids the arrangement of constituent particles is different in different directions. तो इसमें पार्टिकल का अरेंजमेंट जो है डेफिनेट होता है, रेगुलर पैटर्न में जो है पार्टिकल प्रेजेंट होते हैं. इसलिए जब हमें डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस देखते हैं तो डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में अरेंजमेंट ऑफ पार्टिकल्स भी क्या रहता है, डिफरेंट रहता है. दैट्स व्हाई यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द वैल्यूज ऑफ दिस प्रॉपर्टी डिफरेंट इन डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस. हेंस क्रिस्टलाइन सॉलिड्स शो अनिसोट्रोपिक नेचर. नाउ इन differences I have written a point. What is that? In case of amorphous solids, so these are pseudo solids, or they are also known as supercooled liquids. So even glass is also a supercooled liquid. That's why we have classified the glass in amorphous solids. Okay, so now why amorphous solids are called pseudo solids? Why amorphous solids are called pseudo solids, or why they are also known as supercooled liquids? Let us see the reason. See, I told you liquids and gases are having a property, they are capable of flowing. So that's why they are fluids बोल के बताऊँ मैं स्टार्टिंग में. Fluids means they are capable of flowing. They are able to flow from one place to another place. The same thing is not there in case of our solids. It is once again because of arrangement of particles. क्योंकि liquids में particle जो है loosely bound रहते हैं, gases में जो है their particles are very free to move. But in case of solids, particles are having fixed position. Even they can oscillate about their mean positions only. मतलब जो है वो पार्टिकल जहाँ पे रहता है वहीं पे वाइब्रेट या तो ऑसिलेट हो सकता है, लेकिन अपनी जगह जो है चेंज नहीं कर सकता सॉलिड्स में. इसलिए जो है ये फ्लोइंग एबिलिटी या फ्लूइडिटी हमारे सॉलिड्स में नहीं रहती. जब हमें अमॉर्फस सॉलिड्स को ऑब्जर्व करें, सो अमॉर्फस सॉलिड्स आल्सो फ्लो. जब हमें बहुत पुरानी इमारत के विंडोज़ के ग्लास पेन को देखें तो उसका बॉटम जो है थोड़ा थिक हुए रहता. ये विंडोज़ को जो ग्लास फ्रेम होते हैं, वो ग्लास फ्रेम के विंडोज़ बहुत पुराने मॉन्यूमेंट्स मतलब 200 ईयर्स 300 ईयर्स जो बहुत पुराने मॉन्यूमेंट्स होते हैं, उसके विंडोज़ के ग्लास पेन को जब हमें ऑब्जर्व करते हैं तो ग्लास का जो बॉटम होता है नीचे साइड में जो है उसका बॉटम थोड़ा थिक हुआ रहता. वाई इट इज़ सो मीन्स इवन ग्लास इज आल्सो फ्लोइंग, इट इज़ आल्सो हैविंग एबिलिटी टू फ्लो बट वेरी स्लोली. नॉट ओनली ग्लास, even our amorphous solids are also having ability to flow, but it is very slow. That's why they are called pseudo solids are super cooled liquids. Amorphous solids have ability to flow though very slowly, hence they are called pseudo solids. Or supercooled liquids. Hope now you understood why crystalline solids are true solids and amorphous solids are pseudo solids or supercooled liquids. Okay, so amorphous solids, even if a question comes like this, why glass is called supercooled liquids, you just replace amorphous solids by glass. So glass is having ability to flow very slowly, hence it is also known as supercooled liquid, or it is a pseudo solids you can say.